Good morning. So, like I said yesterday, if you're keeping up with my pandemic goings on, I talked about how some people say that pour painting is a wasteful form of art, and that can be true. You do pour a lot of paint and medium off of whatever surface you are painting on, and so that can be wasteful, but it can also be just another creative outlet. So as you may have seen, I pour onto these. I mean, these are literally just lids to Dollar Tree containers, and they've got a nice little lip on them. So when I pour paint into them, it collects it nicely, and then I can kind of move it around and do my thing. And then what I end up with is something like this. I find sometimes on the back side is more of this kind of watercolor. That's how we get these skins, as they're called. And that's what we start with. Let me show you what we do with those. It's kind of fun. So if you've like really watched the videos, you're like, oh, I know what painting that is from. So this is from when I was doing that rainbow pour. So here's the skin we're going to work with. Let me show you some of the things that you will need for this project. My adhesive of choice is this diamond glaze. You can find it most places, but since you're supposed to be staying home right now, you can buy this on Amazon. Okay, so we've got our knife, our nice sharp edge. What are we going to put these in? So, I mean, honestly, you could do anything. You could break them up and do mosaics on anything, some tiles, some nice wood panels, whatever. But I like to make accessories with these skins. So, I have a variety of bookmarks that we're going to start with today. Those of you who have been hanging around watching me work for a while definitely know these bronze owls. Those are a big hit. Oh my gosh, I probably sold 50 of these over this past Christmas. So I have a bunch of these. We've got some fun little turtle. I have a lot of nice green. When you order them, most of them come with these glass domes. And that is what is going to encase your little wearable or accessory art. Do check if you are buying these, because this has happened to me. In fact, I can't really do any cufflinks right now because it came with the trays, the bezel trays, but it did not come with the glass domes. So I had to order those. So read your descriptions, people, and you will have that information. So let's start with this. So from here, I mean, I set it where I already knew I wanted it. So, but just kind of move this around. And that's the thing I love about these glass domes, is you can really kind of get a good idea. And it makes everything, it gives it some depth, some three-dimensional. This one right here might be good for that. For the turtle. That might be a good one for the turtle. But I really love this spot over here. That is the spot I love. So I've got that really nice blue shape and a little bit, if I move it this way a little bit, I get a little bit of purple edge and a little orange. Some pretty good stuff. Maybe I'll move it down just a little bit. Yeah, right there. That's where I want it. Hold this down. My pretty paint fingers. Put some pressure on it. And then you're just going to take your sharp edge and while holding that down, just peel that skin away. And while I have that down, I'm just gonna take a look and trim off any edges I didn't quite get, but I think that one looks pretty good. So I'm going to take my dome off and very carefully just kind of take my blade over here just to kind of loosen it. And there we go. That will be a little painting, and we could put him in an owl. Okay, let's take a look for this little turtle. I don't know. So here's where we chose. We're going to take this bezel off, and we are going to gently release it. And that will be our small painting. And I believe that this is going to go in our turtle. Let's take a look. Here's our turtle. See what we think about it. Oh, I think it's going to be pretty. So you see, get some nice depth with it. Whoopsies, can't go that far. All right, so how do we make this guy permanent? First, just in case I got some fingerprints on it while I was handling it, I use a little alcohol wipe so I get that nice and cleaned off, and I usually keep just a nice either lens cleaning cloth or t-shirt. Shh. I'm going to take my diamond glaze. Is just unscrew this guy. Usually I just keep this little medicine bottle cap, and I just pour some in there. Just a little bit. You don't need much at all. I usually just keep it on its side right here. And then I use these micro brush applicators. Okay, just a little tip for you. When I first began doing this, I would put my adhesive straight into the tray. I'd put my little paint skin straight onto that, and then I would put some more adhesive on this dome and put it right on top. So that works. However, if you get any bubbles in between your paint skin and your glass dome, if you're doing it in that order, it is much more difficult, if not impossible, to try to get all those bubbles out. So the way I like to do it is I start with my glass. Make sure you don't shake your bottle of diamond glaze, because if you do, then this coat right here would have a whole lot of air bubbles in it, and we don't really want that. Okay. How I like to do this is I butt this edge straight up against my finger and just kind of lay it down and then roll it on top. I feel like I got too much glaze on this one. And if your piece of paint skin is rather thin, you just want to make sure you get everything out. I usually just take that little extra and put it right in my tray, because that's where it's going to end up. Pretty sure I don't have any bubbles left in this. Oh, I look on the other side and I see some. So if you get the angle just right on the light onto the skin, you can see those. Try not to have any adhesive on your finger when you're doing this, because you will stick to it. So if you find some bubbles in the center, you just kind of push and push its way out to the edge. All right, I think we got this guy. Now, just going to take a little bit more adhesive. Just put it right in the center. Just going to drop that guy straight in and give it a good push. I like to keep a fresh little wand here. I think a Q-tip would probably work fine for this too, although you might get some debris. And just get some of that extra off, and honestly it just goes right onto my hand, which is why my hands always look horrible. You will have some adhesive on that just from the process of getting it glued in. So you can scrape it off. You can see there's some right there and kind of get that off, but I only like to do that when it's dry because I don't want to get adhesive on the end of my blade. Another way is if your alcohol swab is still wet. Squeaky clean. What a great gift. Let's do one more. So we cut this guy earlier. I'm going to clean my glass dome. Just make sure I don't have any fingerprints or oils that will either show up or, ooh, fun, or inhibit the adhesive. So let's throw this guy into an owl because we have a fair amount of owls to work with. Ooh, that piece of paint is kind of thin. Sometimes when they're really thin, that can be kind of difficult. I really thought I checked this one before I cut it. Do we want to go this way? Or this way? I think I like the other way better. All right, so let's grab our glue. And again, kind of be gentle with that glue because you really don't want little air bubbles in it. Got a few. Just gonna bring some of this over. I think I got a little too much last time. Haven't done these in a while. I get my chops back. All right, now we're gonna take our skin. And again, I like to butt it right up against my finger so it's got a landing point, and then just kind of shimmy it down. Just lay it down flat. Push out any excess. And there is our finished product. I'm going to try to wait for my dog to decide that it's okay for people to actually walk down the street. So here's the finished product. You can see we get a lot of depth with that. And those are the super fun owls because so many people do love their owls. So for that person on your list who loves to read and loves owls, as you can see, we've got a lot of skins to work with, so whatever color you may like. But here's this guy. So I think that's all we're going to do today. Thanks for joining me. This was definitely longer, more content, tutorial kind of video. I've had a couple people ask, so here it is. And this is one of many ways to not be wasteful while enjoying the wonderful and super fun technique of pouring paint. So there you go. Stay safe, have a good day, enjoy this gorgeous weather because it's going to get colder tomorrow. So take care.